land wasn't just a commodity, but a living relationship. In this conversation, 4 visionary leaders invite us to see the earth differently. Patricia Memé Gorchs brings clean water systems to rural Guatemala. Deborah Fadul uses the language of flavor to reconnect with territory. William Blakey and Joyous create regenerative communities through Starseed Village and EDEN energy. From the kitchen to the countryside, from tech innovation to ancestral wisdom, they're proving that when we root our visions in care for the land, we can heal ecosystems, restore culture, and transform communities from the soil up. Let's give a warm round of applause.
Hola, hola. So welcome to everyone. Such a pleasure to be here. I will be the moderator of this amazing panel. My name is Memé Gorchs. I was born and raised in Argentina, and then a couple of years brought me to India. And I've been living in the Lake Atitlan with my family for the last 6 years. So I work for Water for Life, where we create different type of clear water systems, education, and empowerment for women in rural communities here in Guatemala. So, yeah, when I think about the topic of today, regenerative lands, these words, I just think not about just the land surviving. I think about the land like getting richer, stronger, more abundant for all the generations that will come after us, right? So I really feel an amazing opportunity to be having this panel where we're going to have 3 great voices sharing their different visions. So I would like to give them the opportunity to share on their own words their path that connects to rethinking land. And let's start with Deborah. So I'm going to have also like a guiding question that relates to the work and vision, because they all are amazing persons having different things in their work. So Deborah, as many of you know, she's an amazing chef, connecting land and territory and food and flavors. So I would love that you share, how do you see gastronomy be a tool for healing land and yes, regeneration of the culture?
Thank you. Yeah, cover. So I think it started like 16 or 15 years ago, and I asked myself a question: what's the purpose of a chef in a community? Because we know chefs as something that will entertain you in a restaurant or serve you in a restaurant, or even at home or whatever, but we don't see chefs as healers in a society that needs to be healed in every single way. When you realize how much the kitchen solves, but at the same time ruins, if you don't have the conscience, it's amazing how much it touches. It touches topics about recycling. It touches about even wood construction, everything that goes around eating, just eating, not just in a restaurant, but at home, touches too much that it made me question myself, like, what am I doing as a chef that will change my country? Because whenever I see a chef that is studying gastronomy here in Guatemala, the goal is always to go to some other country to learn and then come back and bring all these ideas and everything, blah, blah, blah. And I remember that the first thing that popped into my mind, it was like, I want to be more and more rooted in my country. I want to get to know what are all these problematics that goes around food in my country. And I realized, going to the farm with my husband, and he's a coffee farmer, how much struggle and how much work is behind just a cup of coffee, and how many people is involved in that process, and how less value and how much we don't pay attention to it. So I started like researching and doing all this kind of stuff, and how can I connect the consumer to all of these stories, and in a very profound and conscious way, without seeing as this tree hugger or like I don't know, like hippie that was talking about like yeah, it's funny because when I started this and when I started to talk about with my colleagues, with my chef colleagues about this, like, oh, where does this tomato comes from then? And they were like, I don't know, from the market. And I was like, yeah, but from where? From Guatemala. And how was the process? And how is it planted? How is the procedure behind the soil and everything? And I realized how much power as consumers, and not just as a chef, as a consumer, we have in making decisions that impact in a whole society. And that's how I started this new system that I teach in the university of connecting the student or the consumer to the soil through the technique of copying every single ingredient that we have in the restaurant. So the same technique that coppers in the coffee world use, I use that and started to making it in the kitchen with every single ingredient that comes in. So imagine finding notes of whiskey and rosemary and an onion, and everybody's like, no, it's just an onion. No, it's not just an onion. It takes almost 2 months or 3 months to grow. And because of the care that has it, it changed the flavor. So it kind of like work in that way. Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow. Thank you for your powerful perspective. Yeah. So just reminding us this connection, right? Like land and food. Thank you, thank you. So William, yeah, he is one of the visionaries behind Starseed, a village, a beautiful village, a community in Chicacao. And I would really like that you give a glimpse about your path, and also that you share how new tools, like we know, blockchain and decentralized finance, they can support communities.
Thank you very much. First of all, I just want to see a show of hands for who's tried to grow food. Okay, good, nice amount of you. And so you probably understand how difficult it is. So I just want to give you a lot of admiration for what you're doing. It's very, very difficult, even though it should be something very basic and simple. So yeah, my journey to Starseed Village and regenerative land projects kind of started with a business, economics and finance background. Traditional entrepreneurship, businessman, thinking business first, philanthropy later. But after some, very young success and finding the emptiness inside, I had a bit of a dark night of the soul journey, which some of you might resonate with. And looking outwards, just seeing all the different problems, systemic problems that we face in our world, from education to healthcare to waste, pollution, the environment. There's so many things that I saw were wrong with this world and this system, and I was depressed, looking for answers, and really didn't find many answers. So it kind of started my journey of systems change in general, not to try and beat or fight the old system, but to build the new one, which did lead me to blockchain and decentralized technology, which I'll touch on. But it also led me to land projects, because a regenerative eco-village, village and city building, is basically the same as building a society or a civilization. So it's the foundation of a new civilization, a new society. Our food, our water, and then our education and healthcare. So Starseed Village basically became an opportunity to recreate everything with the way that we live with ourselves, with each other, and with the land. And I had about 5 years of living in Bali. I was very lucky to live there, and I started an impact investment club, which is now the #1 impact investment club of Asia. We're heavily invested in waste management and water and social technology, and we're looking to bring that to Latin America now. And Starseed Village is a great pipeline, because within a village, there's many different businesses, right? You think of the zoning and the master planning that's involved with an eco-village. There's obviously the residential, the community, the commercial, then there's the permaculture, the agroforestry, the water, the waste, the energy. So it kind of opened me up to a full spectrum. I'd say I'm a generalist in the broadest sense. But the specialist element of what I bring is the Tao. So I'm a Taoist. That's my philosophy. I believe that we all come from nothing, and nothing is everything. And this technology that now exists has the same name. It piqued my interest, and it became basically the foundation tool of how we can build new civilizations, societies, and communities. How do communities make decisions? How do they govern? How do they share value? And I think the point you're leading me to is, for example, tokenization of a land project. So Starseed Village, we tokenized our land with a land token, and we've enabled our community members to contribute their time, their value, their skills to community building and, architectural drawings, growing in the garden, cleaning in the kitchen, whatever it might be, something of value to the community, and they get to earn their land tokens, which once they have enough, they can actually exchange for a plot. So it becomes a tool for investors to buy, for residents to buy, and for community to earn. So this is one example of how the DAO can help with a land project and with regenerative thinking.
Wow, thank you so much, William. Yeah, this is really adding another layer where we can see that economy and communities, they can walk hand in hand. So amazing. So now I would like to invite you, Joyous. We know through his work in Eden, he's been kind of inviting us to rethink our relationship to waste and regeneration. So I would love that you can share about your path, your journey, and how do you see waste becoming a resource to create energy to support communities.
Gracias, Memé. I'm just so honored to be here. Thank you, Janma, for creating Volcano Summit and for this wonderful panel. Playing off of what William just shared, my journey has been, since I was very young, looking at how do we actually regenerate community in every sense of the word. From the social architectural perspective, the educational perspective, as well as the built environment. How does it become a force for good where we actually uplift every member of the community and come in the right relationship with the land, right? To speak of coming from nothing and returning there, which is truly everything, we all originate from this earth and we return there. The fallacy is we separated ourselves over time to be disconnected from the whole, whereas we are an integral part of and informed by this entire world. So I really started looking at right relationships since I was young and looking at the core levers, the core touch points that could actually uplift humankind as a whole and bring us in the right relationship with the earth. I've been focused on the regenerative economy, beyond sustainability, right, which is a philosophy of do no further harm, which we're well past in many capacities. Actually actively regenerating the land, the water, the air, and thus ourselves in the process. So that's a journey I've been on since I was 18. That's been my North Star. I've helped build leadership teams and companies in various industries, and yet that's been the through line of my whole life. I started several different community models, worked with landowners and developers in various regions to support the growth of beautiful visions like Starseed, which we would love to support, I would love to support. And in that journey, I realized really the key that no one was talking about when everyone was talking about sustainability and regeneration was a true solution for pollution. We have such a systemic waste issue that if you go anywhere in the world, whoever you're talking to in the private or public sector buries the data because it's such a liability that no one wants to actually admit the extent of which the land, water, and people in the area are being poisoned through lack of a proper solution. So I'm here representing EDEN as a co-founder and co-CEO. This is a legacy project of the founder, my co-CEO, Jonathan Appel. He started this work with his father when he was 15, and now we're on generation 3 of a solution that can take all waste simultaneously, all carbon-based waste, so your plastics, all plastics, tires, food waste, everything you would throw into a dump, and then some, and convert it at over a 90% energy efficiency into truly regenerative, clean resources. So we have no negative emissions, no negative byproducts. We're a net water producer because we liberate the water that's trapped in the waste. We also create a very high-quality biochar, which has energy properties, which we can also use it for soil reconditioning, for restoring the soil of the land. It has other industrial properties as well. And we create the cleanest burning hydrocarbons on the planet with no bad actors present. No VOCs, no PAHs, no heavy metals. So it's a true recycling system of everything that we've created through industry, because we're actually able to break apart the bonds, the double and triple carbon bonds, and return everything to the original molecular constituents. Because if you look at Earth, there is no such thing as waste. Everything is repurposed and reused, regenerated. The Earth will continue to do that even through things that may take her thousands of years that we've created. And yet we found a way to do that in a contained environment, following molecule to molecule full transformation within 90 minutes. To me, this is an absolute baseline for regenerating our economy, regenerating our people, regenerating our relationship with the land, really rethinking how we look at community. And it's just an absolute honor to be here. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. Woo. Yeah. So thank you, Joyous. Amazing. It's just how, you know, he can turn what it's a problem into an opportunity. It's amazing. So we have heard Deborah talking about territory and food, William talking about economy and communities, and now Joyous about, you know, waste as a resource. I would love now to open the space for three of you, just to interact, right? Because this is like regenerative land. It's that we keep going and going and interacting, and it's like a constant talk. And I would like to see, where do you find like all these visions that you have come together?
Why are you looking at me? I think in lots of ways. I was thinking when you were talking and when you guys were talking, how much we need to balance between the knowledge that we have from our farmers, and because they have been here in the land since generations ago. And I have a really good example of that. One of my amazing producers from bell peppers, he's an amazing biologist. He came back to Guatemala and he was like super excited to put all this knowledge to the farm and the bell peppers and to create these amazing bell peppers. And then he saw the farmers from his farm picking up the bell peppers that had like a neck, like a, I don't know how to explain this in English, but como hundido, like a neck. And they were like picking up and picking up and picking up. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, guys? And he was like, those doesn't work because it's gonna infect the whole bell peppers. And I was like, why? Because every single farmer in Guatemala has open farms. They don't have domes like this. So when it rains, it fills up with water and starts getting musty. And it goes to the whole crop. So they pick up the bad ones and conserve the good ones, and they only plant those seeds, the ones that doesn't have, like, they have like straight neck. And he was completely amazed. I studied 5 years biology, then I went to this and that, my master and everything, and I had never heard about this. So they started to working together to create this seed for the farmers from the whole country, to create a seed, a healthy seed, obviously, in a natural way, for them to have like a problem solving. And I think that when you realize, like you said, when you realize about a problem and then you create something that is gonna keep the value, but listen to the people that needs to be listened and create it as a community, is when you understand that you're not here to do stuff alone, that you need to work together. So that's how I think.
Yeah, that's really beautiful, thank you. And it makes me think of your analogy being applied to, this one's much louder. Yeah, it's maybe it's an unpopular topic to talk about, it's a difficult one, is relationships in community building. Anyone that's tried to join a community or build a community, they understand that relationships is pretty much the hardest thing to get right. And the connection to what you just said is to pick out the bad seeds. right? You focus on the ones that are thriving, that are adding value, that are contributing, and you remove the ones that would otherwise poison and affect the other ones. So that can be a really difficult thing to do if you want to have an open-hearted, all-inclusive community, the idealistic dream, which is definitely how Starseed Village started. In our first 6 months, we hosted the Latin American Rainbow Gathering, had about 150 people on our land, and about 35 of them wanted to stay. And some of them were amazing, and some of them weren't. And we got to witness a self-organization of how the people put together a system for what you actually need to do to be a part of this community. And we didn't have any of that when we started. So I would just share with any of you that are in the beginning of your journey to really think that part through. I heard a really nice analogy recently of hard to enter, easy to exit. So just bring that into your thinking when you're designing your communities. And yeah, focus on the seeds that are thriving.
I absolutely love that. And having built communities, I know exactly what you're speaking to. The tie-in that I see is that one of the ways that we actually bring together true community, right? Regenerate, we've been a little fractured in the modern age. How you come in a right relationship as community, and from there with the land, is shared stewardship. You look at that and how you co-govern. There's models for that, and also shared economic benefit. One of the disparity in our world is vast, and to be able to bring forward solutions that allow each member of a community to prosper is really key. It gives everyone a shared benefit, a shared mission, and that's something I'm really, really excited about with EDEN. Being able to be zero waste truly, to even compost the idea of waste is phenomenal. And being able to bring true self-sufficiency, true self-reliance to people in any region, where they can actually have that economic and energy independence as a byproduct of transforming what they call waste, is huge. Our system also creates organic fertilizer, so it directly ties in with the land. The biochar, the water you're liberating, and the fertilizer, you're regenerating the land, the water, and you're also creating what you need locally to grow organic food. And then from there, how does the returns on EDEN systems are so high. It's why we come in partnership anywhere we go with the local aligned leaders in the public and private sectors, so that we can ensure that the overall community truly benefits. Right? When you can go to people in government, and go to people in the private sector, in the waste, energy, agriculture sectors, and say, you can make as much, if not significantly more, than you're making, and you can also leave a legacy of healing the land and uplifting your people. And how does everyone no longer have to pay to take their waste away, but actually be paid for it, or have their energy bill come down, and have that local resiliency that no matter what happens in the greater world, you're able to produce clean food, have clean water, clean soil. That to me is a key baseline. It's why I feel that being able to effectively transform waste into energy and other resources for agriculture, et cetera, is such a key heartbeat for community and really regenerating our relationship with each other and with the land.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to listen to you guys talking at the breakfast meeting this morning, and whilst I take your analogy of picking the seeds and being somewhat selective with who you invite into your community, you don't need to be selective with what goes into your waste system. You literally can turn everything into power, so that's something that's really, really I admire, and unique in the industry, so congratulations to all that you're doing.
Yeah. Wow, yes, amazing. It's just, it's beautiful. I'm loving to hear in all your visions that how they connect and how they interact with each other, your work. And because it's not just ideas, right? They are all like an holistic, how we were talking before, that everything is a part of the same whole. So, so beautiful. As we are coming to a closing, I would like, to ask you just to leave a seed, to finalize this panel. A seed that you want of your vision that here all the people are with us, they can carry forward from the panel. And and then it's like something simple but powerful, right? So I invite you for this now.
Okay, I can go first, that's all right. So I'll give you two things. First of all, if you really want to create communities where there is shared purpose and shared economic value. I highly encourage you to look at the DAOs, the blockchain technology, and how it can enable that truly. But for an individual takeaway, I think when we give advice, it's always the advice we want to give to ourselves. And I have a constant battle when it comes to food, because especially when visiting a city or traveling, it's very difficult to find clean food. And I think what you were speaking to today is that food is medicine. And when we are eating the right food, we are in right relationship, not just with the earth, but with ourselves. And then that should also improve our relationships, which should then improve our community. So it really does start with our inputs, the water and the food. So I would just invite you all to really think about what you're putting into your bodies, and if there's anything you can do to be more conscious about that.
Yeah, tying right in, I mean, one of the best ways we can heal and uplift ourselves is to connect locally as a community. We have the ability anywhere in the world, truly. Some places it might be more difficult than others unless you're tapping into the true cultural legacy, because every people has the wisdom on how to operate in that land. Find that right relationship within community. Source your food locally. Support the farmers. Support the people who have given their lives to the things that we require and who are doing it right. Who are doing it in a way that enables the land to thrive, enables us to thrive. And really remember how powerful you are. You're invaluable. One word, one action, shifting one small behavior, maybe choosing to source the organic food from the local farmers, changes everything. So I invite you to remember that. And my father always taught me, if joy is to be your path, then gratitude shall be your staff. So find moments of gratitude every day. Lean into that gratitude. I leave you with that. Thank you.
Wow, so thank you for three of you. Thank you for the audience. For your presence today. And now I would like to share about my seed. And really when I connect with this, I would like that, to live here after this panel, I really, really, really believe that when we protect water, we protect land. And when we protect land, we protect life. And that is really what I believe. And I invite you to carry this seed after this panel. And gracias Pachamama. Thank you Mother Earth, the water, the lands, and everyone. Thank you so much. It was lovely to have this panel. Yeah, have a beautiful day.